Hey everybody, welcome to the Black Filmmakers Matter podcast. And today we have the most awesome Nkosi Phanord with us today. How are you, man?
Thanks. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. We have so much to talk about. We had a little pre meeting about a week ago, and you had
Yeah.
so much good information. So we
Mhm.
did start out. I asked you a simple question: what is your favorite genre and why?
My favorite genre, mm, I really love like those those introspective joints where it's like I would say drama, I guess. Drama for the most part. I like drama a lot, especially when it has like a funny twist to it, like that's more than just the typical drama stuff. Like I
Right.
like when things go in depth, honestly, yeah.
Okay, so how does that affect your decision in filmmaking? Do you make dramas or what do you specialize in?
Not even like I think because I've been very someone who's very observing. I'm able to like navigate in like different things, whether it's comedy, stuff like documentaries, or I haven't done fiction a lot, but if I had to do some, I really want to go like outside the colored lines and probably go straight to action or like stuff that people wouldn't expect from me, honestly.
Okay. All right. So to you, what's the most important thing a beginner filmmaker should know or learn?
Mm. I'll say that one thing that's been very important for me is to own my means of production. I feel like when you're an independent filmmaker just starting out, you don't want to rely too much on like other people's resources or like if you don't have the funds for it. Sometimes like it does affect the process, but if you learn like how to handle the camera, how to handle editing yourself a little bit, not only you'll be a better filmmaker just by trying your hands at these things and understand how these things go, but you'll be able to communicate that to somebody else down the line once you have the resources and the proper infrastructure to do it with a team at one point. I think that's what's been very beneficial for me as a filmmaker.
Okay, so you're saying to learn different things, not to just limit yourself
Yeah,
to,
and
you
don't limit yourself. Like if you feel like you have the patience to like actually own the camera, get to learn how to handle it, learn editing a little bit, you can not only create stuff on your own DIY style, but you could get better at it by manipulating the equipment yourself and handling on a day to day, and potentially open like other avenues or streams of revenue for yourself by being technically good at these things as well. That's how I got my start on advertising before even thinking I could do filmmaking at one point.
know. Okay, so that's awesome. So you're teaching us that there are other avenues to, create and make money.
Exactly, because then, by the time you really want to do the filmmaker thing, not only you have like, some kind of like financial backing to do it on your own, but you also have like you've been experiencing different sets and different things because advertising requires another creative brain, but
Yeah,
also teaches you the pain points of, hey, not only you put out content, but it's content that has to make people take action on it. So
right.
now you understand how to put together a campaign, but also making sure that it connects with people as much as it should be. So that's why like when you release your own film or you do your own documentary, whatever you're doing, you're going
Mhm.
to think about it as a business more than just like a creation in itself. And then you'll be
Right.
able to promote and create something around your project yourself.
Okay. S- It's hard even getting this out. Marketing is a whole nother monster.
Yeah, most
Like you,
definitely.
yeah, you have to learn, you have to research even the basics of marketing.
Yeah.
It's not just throwing your film up there nicely on Facebook or Instagram. It's not.
Yeah.
Um, what are some things you would like to see more of in our
Mm.
community or from our community within the entertainment industry?
Mm. I think the recent projects I've seen and what I'm seeing in the landscape now, it's already in motion. But I feel like, when it comes to like Black experiences, we're more than the typical either hood flick or like the over the top drama slave movie. So there's a reality that's in between these two extremes. Can we just talk about these a little more? There's the black nerd, there's the black karate guy, there's this and that, the third. I want to know about all those different experiences of being black. And I feel like some of it should be pushed a little more, but also make sure that it's like representative and it's not cliche, or just try to stay away from what we're used to, and try to provide like an experience where we understand that black people have more layers than what we think they have.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we do have more layers. We're more than athletes, and you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're so much more than that. Um, what do you think is the most important thing for, I'm going to ask you a two-part question. The most
Yeah.
important thing you think a new filmmaker um, should not do?
Hmm.
What's something you wish you didn't do, but you learned the hard way?
um
I know that could be a
pa-
lot of stuff.
paperwork matter. Like paperwork matters. Like get your get your attorney, get your paperwork game right. Like, cause this is not for the weak. Like you could be literally working a whole year of your life thinking it's all fun and games until you figure out that you're not in control of your creation. You're not gonna reap the benefits from it, whether on the back end or the front end. Like, make sure that your contracts is formal, that everything is clean cut, and you understand that you're protecting your art, and then just go on to strike a deal and work for what you got, and make sure you're able to uphold that contract once everything is said and done. I think that would be the main thing, because it would be sad for you to build all this leverage, getting recognized, and by the time you have an actual shot at this thing, you lose it all based on a technicality. That would be a nightmare for me, honestly. And it almost happened to me at one point, and I'm going through it a little bit now, but I got it sorted out. But it was a journey. Not
Nkosi, let me tell you, it happened to me. Like, I came in 70 years ago excited. I wrote a book, I wrote a script. I'm so happy and got the actors. Everything was fine. Everything we shot the last day, it just went straight to crap. The person was
to
giving,
hell, yeah.
yeah. I didn't have a contract, so, we had to do the court thing. But
Yeah.
just to let, these youngsters know that, yeah, document everything.
Of course.
You're
Because
right.
we get excited. We just want, because that's the thing about us artists. We just want to put it out. Like we sometimes we don't think about like the intricacies and percentage on this, percentage on that, and whatsoever. But sometimes, unfortunately, too, it's like it takes budgets. It takes fine to get your finances together to get on the next project, to the next project, to the next project. So on like you got to be on top of it, or else you got to pay the consequences. Unfortunately.
That's right. What are you working on now?
Right now, I'm working on three documentaries. One on the jazz scene in Montreal. I'm working on another documentary about a black hiking movement in Canada, Montreal, Canada. That's been like the first in the nation, I believe.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but it's that story specifically really is close to home, because that's my cousin. She was able to put together this movement of Black people going in the outdoors and making sure their presence is felt, because this is not a particular field where we're known to be a presence. So she called it Hike MTL. She goes on hikes every weekend. She's doing this big winter festival, and sometimes people don't put the two and two together, black people and winter sports and whatnot, but she was able to connect the dots for us. And
Nice.
we're doing a whole documentary with potentially a big brand called Arterix, and they're going to sponsor the movie. It's going to be a branded documentary-ish, but they don't have like too much say so on what's going to be on the screen, so it's good for us. And
Mhm.
yeah, no, so we're going to tell her story, the story of a black ice climber, like he's climbing the ice all on his own, no equipment, like never seen before type stuff. And it deals a lot with like mental health, because she started the movement based on the fact that she lost her little brother, and from the grief she went back to nature. And this is where we're taking the story pieces and pieces. So that's a project that's really close to home. When it comes to the jazz scene in Montreal, it's a whole different monster in itself, because up in Montreal, like the Jazz Fest is like the biggest music festival in the region, if not the world. That
Okay.
brings together musicians from all over the world. We have people who actually thought classic and iconic musicians like Quincy Jones and stuff like that. Like we have local heroes who really played a part on the landscape of jazz as a whole. So we're covering their story and whatnot. And then the third one, it's something that really relates to my upbringing again. It's basically, we called it like Black Summer 91, where we go over like a specific summer in Montreal where pretty much the cultural landscape birthed. Like the gang culture, activism, the church, and everything kind of got
Nice.
their feet wet around those years. And I literally grew up in that because like my family were activists in the 90s. So like the first image that I can remember as a kid was me watching a portrait of Malcolm X. So that kind of strikes a bell for me because that's my story in a way. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on. Like, and also like one of those projects is meant for TV, so that's going to be my TV debut, basically.
Wow, that's deep, man. Wow, I'm stuck.
Thank you, thank you,
That's
thank
awesome.
you.
Um, I'm gonna tell you what I tell all the other filmmakers. I'm like a kid in a candy store because I'm
Hmm.
learning so much from you guys, and it's beautiful seeing us and people who look like us, doing the same thing.
I
It's
agree.
great. One more question before you go. So, what do you think a good point is, or a good piece of advice for our young people trying to do what we're doing?
Mm, um, Intuition will take you places that money can't. Honestly,
Yes.
intuition will take you places that money can't. Like if it wasn't for my intuition, I wouldn't even have that conversation with you right now. Because to me, like I could have easily just focused on the advertising side of what I got going on. It's good money, can't complain. I would have maybe opportunities outside of my city or my country or whatsoever, but it would have never felt so as empowering as filmmaking for me personally, because telling stories without me knowing it is something I've been doing my whole life technically. I used to do like the theater plays when I was younger. I used to write like, like short stories when I was a kid. Then I transited to blogging and different forms of like write-ups, and then only to evolve in doing videos. So telling stories has been my life journey, but when it's advertising, it's tell a story to actually sell something. So it doesn't really connect the dots for me in the storytelling aspect of what I want to do. Because
Wow.
the both can be true, but at the end of the day, you're always going to have like the marketing director telling you like, yeah, your storyboard is nice, but are we going to sell a lot of these products at the end? So it's not the same outcome.
Right.
And like me experiencing in 2020 my first like live audience of people seeing my work and be like either amazed, disturbed, or just creating like a reaction from a crowd. Like this is something like no money can buy. And if it wasn't for me taking a leap of faith, because there was no guarantee that one, I could make a living off it, or it would be something that people would really receive from me, because I wasn't really known for doing these. So
Okay.
it was a risk for me to step out of my comfort zone and do something that I actually wanted to pursue, but didn't know if I could do it for real. So
Mhm.
I was based on that leap of faith of trying my hands at a Black Film Festival for Montreal, I was able to really see that, hey, I'm actually good at this thing. I do it without thinking. It's second nature for me. You know what? I can actually do this thing. And now, fast forward today, I'm speaking with you on this platform where I get to connect with filmmakers from all over the world. And to me, like that means the world because the message has to be spread. I'm all about empowering us wherever we come from. You know, I'm well traveled. I like to have these conversations with people from all over the world as well, and we all come from the same things. When you think about it, it's just like the language may differ, the realities are a little bit different, but like at the same time, it's like the same struggle in a strange way. So to me, it's like everything is interrelated, and I feel like this is the power of good movies. Like this, if the story is good regardless if they're speaking in German or Mandarin or whatever the language is, the story is just good, you know.
Good.
So, and that's the power of stories for me.
Wow, this is deep. So stick to your gut. Don't be
Yeah,
scared to be original.
yeah,
Don't be scared to try new things.
yeah.
Okay.
Seek ownership as well, because that's what gets you to the next thing and empowers you towards the end. And yeah, always make sure you understand and maintain your value wherever you go. Because like, say if somebody dangles a check in front of you and you go for it, like, do you know the band like Nirvana? You know
Yes.
Nirvana, right?
Uh
You
huh.
know that famous album cover with the little baby swimming towards a
I
bill. I feel
remember
like
that. Yeah.
this is pretty much how society works in general. You know, like they dangle a check in front of you, you just swim towards it the whole time.
Yeah.
So if you're able to just say no and be like, hey, you know what? I think I'm worth more. It's scary. Don't get me wrong. It's always scary. It's always something you have to think about. You have a family to feed, you have people to take care of and all that good stuff. I get that. But if you're able to stick to your gut and be like, you know what, I'll wait on the next, maybe the next until it's right,
Mhm.
who knows? And honestly, at this point of my life, I'm 33 years old. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot throughout my career. I feel like I wouldn't sleep at night with a what if scenario, So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us
Thanks to
today.
you. Thanks to
Dropping
you.
these beautiful gems, Nkosi Phanord.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Guys, any your handles on your Instagram, what is it?
It's Kosi Creates, KosiCreates on pretty much all platforms, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, name it.
Okay, guys, we'll have Nkosi's information on, when we post the videos. Thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to talk to you again, man.